Hey, I'm Aldyn, and the topic of this video is self-love enough to bring you into union with your twin flame. A harmonious union subsequently, and perfect union where essentially the 5D and the 3D, everything is completely aligned with the divine, and you and your twin flame are just like completely letting the divine move through your union so that you're really one seamless unit and resolved of your upset so that you can give your gift from that place that has been purified in perfection and just sustain the abundance of energy, become ascended, all these wonderful things. Like, how do you do that? Is loving yourself really the answer? Like, self-love has become such a hot topic, which is great because we do need to love ourselves. And it's really important. Like, is there something else you need to do to get some rose petals and lay them around, or visualize for hours and hours you and your twin flame merging together into a prism of light, or having yourself some oracle cards and you're making sure that you shuffle them and really well, and receiving your guidance for the day. You and your loved ones are safe. New moon in Cancer. Okay, well that's a nice sign. Oh, that's good. Anyway, and these are what? The Moonology oracle cards. Do we need to do all these things to come into harmonious union? And yeah, so the answer is really yes, all you really need to do is love yourself. But these other things that can be like a way to receive love from the divine, like you really enjoy oracle cards and you're not summoning some other force with them. Anyway, you're not doing that. Hopefully you're not trying to put a spell on your twin flame. What you believe, what you give power to, has to somehow be reflected in your reality. So if you're giving power to fear, giving power to something other than the divine, or thinking that there is some other powerful force out there, you can experience that kind of contrast. It won't be fun, it won't be peaceful, because you're meant to be one with source and to love yourself completely, to also be one with your twin flame and to find yourselves together in that sweet spot and to keep on deepening into that and expanding that. All you have to do is love yourself. And it might sound silly, it might sound crazy, because you might be saying, well, I do love myself. I give myself 10 million hugs a day. I cook myself really good organic food. I comb my hair 10 times. I don't comb my hair because, yeah, like that's not the essence of loving yourself. You have to really go down deep. And so all of these things can be ways to love yourself, and they're great. They really do give that, if you're giving that back to yourself. But if you're doing all of these things without ignoring some part of your foundation, some kind of upset that keeps on reoccurring about maybe your childhood, or maybe you're just plain old upset that you're not with your twin flame and you're not facing that upset. And it's not that you're gonna control and heal that upset and suddenly they're gonna like magically appear like a genie from a lamp. But you're gonna feel better in that place, and you're going to be able to clear the blocks to magnetizing your twin flame to you, and you to your twin flame, because you're one at the core. So you think that your twin flame isn't loving you, but you're the one not loving yourself and not magnetizing yourself to them too. You can do all the work. You don't need to control your twin flame or try to tell them they need to love themselves, or try to get them, if you're familiar with the mirror exercise, to do that. I just went over that in one of my videos. I'll put it up above. Ooh, just checked the timestamp, 6:06, about like self-expression and communication and sharing, and those threes too. So 2 times 3. There's something to be said about loving yourself so that you are able to express yourself from that place of love. If you're expressing yourself, and I know I've experienced this, from a place that has an upset in it. You have an upset there, then the way you're expressing yourself might be self-sabotaging, or just not be a full expression of yourself. You might even have an overlay of what you think looks or sounds good, and I'm not even just talking about talking, like if you make art, the way that you make art, or music, or writing, anything that you do, anything that you put your self-expression into. Like if you're having some kind of deeply rooted upset there, it's okay, right? You can still make beautiful things and say really great things and still have the divine move through you, but don't you want more of that? Don't you want to keep going and keep on experiencing more of that flow? And if you don't, what are you doing? Why not? That flow of peace and love is what attracts and magnetizes your twin flame to you. Like, you just go deeper. It does mean having to go into, do the hero's journey. You have to go into those caves, or like if there's one big dark cave inside of you, and come out the other side. There's going to be some kind of thematical block of separation to everyone's union that they get to clear, and can take that as like an honor, positive challenge. Like, yes, I accept this challenge and I will take the steps forward one step at a time, and I will arrive. I will keep going, and I will continue to love myself no matter what. So no matter what I hear from other people, no matter what things look like, no matter what is going on with your career or your family, or if you're having a tough time in some kind of area of your life, you must persist and continue to love yourself and to have radical compassion for whatever it is that you're going through. Because if you're being hard on yourself, who's going to be there? Sometimes there's a godsend, right? Like when you really, in those moments, you will receive from the divine, always, especially when you're open to it. We've all experienced that before. Parent, a compassionate adult, especially as a kid, when you're being hard on yourself, sometimes someone comes through to present you another option, or Jeff and Shlee are like the perfect examples of doing that, like of just loving. And you can love yourself like that. You can love yourself unconditionally. It's not just that you can, it's like, just do it. Love yourself. Like, please love yourself. You're doing the world such a favor by choosing that. And even if you're like, I just can't love myself here today, keep working through it, and don't force yourself to feel good when you don't. And then there's the whole spiritual bypassing thing to really be aware of, and that's why sometimes you need a coach, you need more support on your twin flame journey. Everyone needs to be called out sometimes on something that they're not fully looking at, or a fresh perspective. I mean, you're not on this planet alone by yourself, expected to love just you and then attract your twin flame who's over there on that other island. The islands are going to merge together. No, like, you're with all of your brothers and sisters, including me, and we're all here together. And we're all doing this together. You can choose to or choose not to, but the truth is we are all one. And then you have your twin flame, who is literally like one with you in a different way. It's different, it's unique. You're romantically together as well, so there is that extra component, and it's just you and him or her. That's really amazing, right? Like, you get to have so much love in your life. You get to have love with your twin flame and experience perfect romance and everything that entails, like the passion and everything. And if you aren't experiencing that already, I would invite you to go deeper with how you actually are experiencing it, because somewhere in your heart, within you, you are experiencing that romantic love and that passion, no matter where you're at with relations to your twin flame. And if you know who they are or don't, or with them or not with them, your twin flame is actually always with you and always loving you too. And since you're one at the core, when you love yourself, you love your twin flame. You don't need to love them to love them. You can just love yourself. Also, don't be stingy with your love, but like, I'm gonna love myself and I'm not gonna love my twin flame kind of thing. If you're gonna be kind of childish or immature about it or something, like, you have an upset there. Because when you're truly loving yourself completely, it should be easy to then love your twin flame, but you don't need to force that flow, but you also don't want to try to control there, because there's anger and numbing out if you're doing that as well. You don't love yourself to get something, right? You just love yourself to love, and you know that in loving yourself, you're going to be able to give more, which should feel really good, and you're going to be able to open yourself up to receiving more as well. And you're going to have an easier time surrendering, and surrender on your journey is so important. And it doesn't mean like, oh, I surrender, like I'm just gonna fall back, and it can have that energy to it, but it doesn't mean like you stop doing things and expect God to like magically bring you your fairy godmother to bring stuff into your life magically. The magic happens in the surrender, and the surrender allows God to move through you and move through the situation that you're in. God's lifting you up. God's got you. It's trust. Surrender and trust really come together. If you can't trust, then you can't really surrender very well. So as you build trust within yourself, and loving yourself is a great way to build self-trust, and you can trust source and bring source into that place within, then you're able to cultivate that unwavering flame, if you will, and that allows for deeper and deeper surrender into peace, and it feels really good. And it allows you to easily take the next step on your journey without hesitation, because you're feeling the flow of the guidance, and you're feeling where that you're trusting, and so you're being led and not having to be unsure or unclear. So it also gives you more clarity. I mean, there's endless benefits to self-love. Just love yourself, love your life, and yes, your twin flame is magnetized to that. And also admit to yourself fully that yes, I do desire my twin flame in my life. When you're ready to admit that, or maybe you already have, great, because that's also a component of loving yourself, is being honest with how you actually feel and what you desire, and moving towards that desire, taking steps. That's also how you love yourself. Again, the oracle cards, the crystals, and all of these fun things, that helps you love yourself, then great. But just come at it from the inner essence of the true power of love within, and attract these things to you in that divine flow. Like, okay, now I can tell it's time to do a card reading. Now I can tell it's time to cook a meal. And then, of course, you can also put these things on a schedule and co-create more divine order in your life too. There's a lot of great layers of self-love, and it's not just a woo-woo abstract thing. It can be very particular and refined, but in that particular, you always though want to allow for expansion and change, right? Like you can be extremely specific about, like, let's say your schedule, but of course you want to be open to the divine there presenting something new to you. And maybe that happens once you master where you're at, or maybe it happens today. Oh, nope, I'm gonna go have coffee with my friends right now because they called me. I can tell this feels good. I had this other thing scheduled, but I don't have to do it, and this is okay. This feels good for me to move in this direction. This feels forward. Putting extra work into a project could be anything. Self-love and self-discipline are one and the same thing. Doesn't mean you're always going to be in that more disciplinary energy. The nurturing and the self-discipline create a really nice balance and container for you to feel like you can trust yourself and bring more of the divine, bring more of God, source into your life in that place, so that you're essentially being from that place. And that's powerful. And your twin flame and you together are a very powerful force. So don't be afraid of that love. Receive what you give manifold. So as you give yourself love, you will receive that in greater and greater ways. I hope that you enjoyed this topic. And definitely leave any comments below if you have anything to say, and got all my links down there as well if you'd like to work with me, and you can subscribe to my channel if you want to see any future videos. Take care, and I will see you again soon. Bye!